We're again at the Chapleau Town Hall for tonight's town meeting.
What's that way? Oh. Cross country meets.
Get started. Is there all part of a particular group or just curious?
All seniors.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Of the committee?
Both groups, just seniors.
Oh, good. Particular reason, something you're looking for, or just out?
Right now, we're attending and learning procedures.
Perfect. Good. Well, welcome. Glad to see everybody out.
I actually leaned over to Alex, said, is there something on the agenda that I'm not aware of?
Me too, because nobody comes.
Yes, I am.
I'm so excited.
It's great.
You never knew it.
Yes.
Meeting on Monday, October the 20th, 2025, to order at 6:30 p.m. right on the nose. Indigenous land acknowledgement. The municipality of Chapleau is situated in Sister Treaty entitled Land Nishnawbe and Cree people in Treaty 9 area and recognizes the neighboring First Nations of Brunswick House, Chapleau Cree, Chapleau Ojibwe, Mishpicotton, and Missinabie Cree. We acknowledge the long history of the First Nation and Métis people in Ontario and show respect to them today. Approval of the agenda. Whereas members of council have been presented with an agenda for the regular council meeting on Monday, October 20th, 2025, and be it resolved that the agenda be adopted as amended. One item in camera, human resources, and one item under new business regarding tax sale process, and one item under hometown takeover. Could I please have a mover?
I'll
Moved
second.
by Kathy, seconded by Paul. Any discussion? Any discussion? Better? There we go.
We're seniors over here.
I don't want to seem like I'm yelling at you, because then I'm gonna get in trouble.
That's okay.
All right. Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Carried. All right, any disclosure of pecuniary interest, councilors? Kathy?
No.
None? Alex?
No.
Paul? Okay, myself, none. Okay. Delegations, we don't have any. Committee of Adjustment, we don't have one. Consent the agenda. Whereas Council Township Chapleau reviewed the consent of agenda consisting of 6.1 council and committee minute meetings, 6.11 regular council meeting minutes of Monday, October 6, 2025, 6.12 meeting minutes of the library board of April 16, 2025, 6.13 meeting minutes of the library board May 21st, 2025, 6.14 meeting minutes of the library board June 18, 2025, and 6.15 meeting minutes of the Chapleau Regional Economic Development Corporation of Monday, August 11, 2025. Now therefore be it resolved that the Township of Chapleau does hereby approve the regular council meeting minutes of Monday, October 6, 2025, and that the council does hereby receive the library board minutes of April 16, 2025, May 21st, 2025, and June 18, 2025. And that furthermore, that the council hereby receive the Chapleau Regional Economic Development Corporation meeting minutes of August 11, 2025. Could I please have a mover?
I'll move.
Moved by Alex, seconded by
I'll second.
Paul. Any discussion?
Point on our last minutes from our October 6th meeting. So resolution 271 on the emergency calls. So there was some discussion on the extents, and we weren't really sure if Allen's truck stop exists, and it's still in the minutes. I was wondering if we could tighten that up to be exactly what that is, because it's Highway 129 to Allen's truck stop, but I don't think that
Aubrey
exists.
Falls truck.
Yeah, they figured it.
Yeah, we just didn't
Can
correct
we
it.
fix that in the minutes?
Good
so
idea,
that
yeah.
it's,
Yeah, Aubrey Falls, trading post, actually,
Yeah.
it's not truck stop, trading post.
Thank you.
You're correct on that, Councilor Alex. Any other?
Meeting minutes for the CREDC. So it's a little tricky because these are the minutes August 11th, so I feel like I might be one or two meetings behind, but there was one point on there, amendments on that meeting. So there were a couple of amendments to the previous minutes. One was on, bring them up here. There were 3 amendments. One was resignation of Richard. There's no context on it, not that it's necessarily there, but I just question that amendment if there was, so the spelling of Tracy Wetzel's name makes sense for an amendment.
Yeah.
The RBC account being closed but not sold, that makes sense. Richard Bignuckle's resignation as an amendment, I wasn't sure why that was amended minutes.
If I may, Ryan, so the amendment for Richard was not Richard Bignuckle to be, he's still on the CRDC.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Julie, that was the resignation of a commerce management group?
No, it actually was the resignation of Richard as a director with the
Correct,
corporation.
my apologies.
He
yeah.
didn't want that level of responsibility,
Sorry.
so he's happy to be a member and he is still on the board, but he's no longer a director of the
Yeah,
corporation.
so I know from discussing that that's kind of what happened, but I was wondering if that could be a little bit tightened up, because he's
Sure.
still on the board,
Yeah.
right, as, so he's still as a member of the board. That
Yeah.
would be good to make that clear, because just reading it, it looks like he's not. on-
Yep. And then in the next minutes, you'll see that he's still on the board, so.
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
again, that's like a couple meetings behind on that.
Yep, no problem. Good catch.
Okay.
Anything else?
That's it.
All right. Now, therefore, oh, sorry,
Amendment,
as amended.
as amended.
Any, no other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor as amended? Carried. Business 7.1, fence height discussion bylaw, that council does hereby direct staff to start the process of a zoning amendment within the township to allow for fence up to 8 foot or 8 foot 2 inches. Kai, please have a mover.
I'll move to enter into discussion.
I'll second.
Second by Kathy, moved by Paul, on open for discussion. Paul?
So this item here is one that was brought to my attention this summer, through construction season. People start to construct decks and fences, and most recently, within the township of Chapleau, we do have some zoning variances or minor variances where people have built larger fences than expected. This, other cities, including Sault Ste. Marie, Timmins, and so forth, have started to look at amending their bylaws to meet provincial standards to allow for up to an 8-foot fence. The reason for that is, one, decks are being built larger and higher, so they want that privacy. The second reason is just property security, again, people not jumping fences at an 8-foot level. And third, noise, right? We live in small communities around trucks, rail, so the purpose for this one is to be consistent with other municipalities and allow for that increase in fence to their backyard, to be consistent with those 3 reasons.
Just for clarity, that's not on the front.
It is not on the front. For example, the city of Sault Ste. Marie, the first 2 sections, so it'd be 16 feet, are still at the 4-foot level for allow for when you back up. You're not creating a problem with pedestrians or other vehicles. It's mostly your side and backyard being at 8 feet.
Any further discussion?
Do we have any input from the town on that matches up, as Councillor Paul says? with
Through
Sault
you,
Ste.
Mr. Mayor? Yes, as a matter of fact, I reached out to Matt Alexander. He's our planner. And he said that a lot of municipalities are moving to the 8 feet 2 inch, which is the maximum height in the Ontario Building Code.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so, that being heard, any other further discussion? Do we have an impasse on going to that, or are we ready to roll?
Through you, Mr. Mayor?
Yep.
So the next step, if council is amenable to this, is to, put it to our planners to create an amendment to our town zoning bylaw. And then we can
Okay.
be able to make that change.
Is that what we want to help happen, council?
Yes.
Okay, all in favor? Carried. Okay, send it for an amendment, please.
Okay.
Thank you. Bear bin location, that the council township Chapleau does hereby support staff in bringing a report back to council on statistics over the past several months of the issues with the bear bin current locations, and that council hereby support the placement of additional bin at Cedar Grove area and at the arena to meet the current needs. Can I please have a mover?
I'll move for discussion.
Seconded.
I'll second.
Kathy, open for discussion. Go ahead, Paul.
So earlier this spring, I asked this item be identified on the agenda. Earlier this spring, we had identified the need for kind of a review of the number of bare bins we have, as well as the location, because during long weekends, we're seeing garbage everywhere. That is poor use on our public works department. They're raking, they're cleaning up. We saw it again this weekend as a long weekend all over the place. People picking up garbage in their yards. So what I've asked for this to be identified is we need to have Public Works come back and talk about the location of those bins. Should they be centralized in 2 locations and monitored with our camera system, so that those who are throwing things that should not be thrown in there, or garbage everywhere. And the second one is we did purchase additional bins to be located at Cedar Grove and other locations, just based on demand, right? So if we're gonna continue having bare bins centrally located everywhere, then we need to ensure we have enough bins to meet public demands, including weekends. So if we're gonna go that route, then add the bins. So what I'm asking for is that we actually get a report back from Reg in terms of the location and whether or not we should be moving them to more central locations. In the spring, it was identified as 2 locations, perhaps the arena, perhaps on this side, and those be monitored so we're not running into the problems we have now.
Okay, any further discussion?
Well, it's one issue that's been biting us, I think, since the beginning of council, is where to put the bare bins. People agree that it should be cleaned up, but then when we say to move them or restrict access, people don't wanna go for it. So my question is the cameras, are we seeing any statistics that there's less garbage being left outside the bins before we add more bins?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. We've actually been doing gathering statistics since February of this year. And Reg is prepared to bring that report to council. He feels that he does have enough information to sort of feel like we've got a good idea of what the community needs. So I've asked him if he could possibly have it for the next meeting, and he indicated he could.
Okay, thanks.
So we will bring a report for it at the next
I
meeting.
agree with Councillor Paul that I think more bare bins are good, but before moving in that direction, I think we do need those statistics, because we've done a lot of work to make sure that out-of-town residents are going to the dump, and we've been as proactive as we can, but still, if we put in more bare bins and it's just gonna be extra garbage outside, I think that'll just be another headache for council.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Carried. Okay, I just need 10 seconds, I just have to ask a question.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Okay.
Wait. So at this time, I need to read a statement to an individual in the report. The individual has his name mentioned. I have to do a public apology. October 16, 2025, complaint form dated September 25th, 2025. We wish to acknowledge receipt of your complaint, and as the claim that the report contained your name, we acknowledge that this is an oversight and that your name was included in the report to council, and we've removed your name from the record and in the permanent records. We also read this acknowledgement out of a council meeting on October 20th, 2025, in hopes this measure rectifies the situation. On behalf of the Township of Chapleau, Ryan Bignucklow, Mayor. And I hope this resolves the issue. Thank you very much to the complainant for bringing this to my attention. I greatly appreciate it. And I hope that this brings a conclusion to that investigation. Accounts payable. That Council Corporation of Township of Chapleau does hereby receive the information accounts payable listing in the amount of $1,038,304.40 for the period ending October 15, 2025. That's the biggest one we've done
Yes.
since elected. This is the biggest. Can I please get a mover?
I'll move.
I'll second.
I think you were second on that one. You
I
kind of
was
just
second
stole
on
it.
that
He
I'm gonna
wasn't
give that
on.
one to Kathy.
I
Mover,
know, it's-
moved by Kathy, seconded by Paul. Open for discussion or questions. Probably some of them are asking, why is this so big this time? 1
got a
million.
question
I
there,
believe it
Ryan.
had Pioneer.
It did.
Yeah.
So we did a bunch of paving for everybody that's here. We did a bunch of paving in the community, and that check came to 700
700
and some. I signed it.
something.
I signed the check because we had to send a check because of the post office, and we can't do e-transfers over a certain
It's
amount.
too big.
And I'm sure some of you drove in on some very nice smooth pavement in the community, and hopefully a loved one didn't have to get flown out at the airport, but if they did, they had a much better takeoff and a much better landing coming home. So, no, it was really, really bad though, like, very, very serious, like a plane's landing and you have a hump like this. Like, we gotta fix that kind of stuff, and we gotta take that kind of stuff in our community very seriously, and we do as council. And it has been addressed, and now we do have a nice 5,000-foot runway, which, you know, we're very, very fortunate in Chapleau. We have the ministry landing for firefighting usage, and basically our airport is free to the taxpayer and actually generates money. So we were able to do these things because we were fortunate enough to save up for that, and I mean, it's good for the community. All right.
I've got a question on that, Ryan.
Yep.
So thanks for the explanation. Yeah, so it's a matter of public record, 767,000 out of the 1,038,000. And I was wondering if it was the biggest. It is the biggest.
Yep.
Hoping someone had a question. Anyways, so at our previous meeting, we had approved this and discussed this, but in the amount of 680,000
Plus
roughly.
HST.
So is that the HST, the extra HST comes out to close to
Yep.
100,000 in that case? Okay, so that's why, and it is numbered a little differently on there, I don't know why it's numbered differently, but.
It wasn't an EFT through you, Mr. Mayor, it wasn't an EFT like the other payments we make,
Okay,
it was an actual check.
alright.
Because it was above our
Old-fashioned check.
limit for an EFT.
Yeah,
I asked the
remember
same
that I'm
question.
approving an extra
Yeah, so
100,000.
when I signed it, I asked, why are we doing a check? Because we don't sign checks anymore, but that was the answer to it.
Thank you.
All right, any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Carried. All right, resolution 9.1, EV charger station agreement, that the bylaw 2025-54 being the bylaw entered into an agreement with the Ontario Charging Network LP by its general partner 258-7265 Ontario Inc. for the current maintenance of 2 fast chargers and EV to be read a first and a second time on this day of the 20th, 2025, and further be read a third time and passed and properly signed and sealed this 20th of October 2025. Can I please have a mover?
I'll move.
I'll
Moved by
second.
Kathy, seconded by Alex. Any discussion? Just for matter of record.
Oh, no,
Okay, just for a matter of record, you're gonna see a numbered company that will come that is owned by a company that I own, and I am getting no financial gain. I actually donated the property to the community so we could have a charging station closer to the downtown core, and not here at the township. We were looking at putting it here, but it doesn't help people that go to charge a car here and then come from downtown and carry all their groceries down to here. So we donated a spot across from the church. You're gonna see an EV charging station go there, and it's on property owned by myself, and it is free of charge to the community. With not being compensated, that's why I didn't declare a conflict of interest, just for the record.
through you, Mr. Mayor. Also to let everybody here know that this was at no cost to the township at all. Everything was, part of our negotiations with Hydro One when they bought out our PUC. They offered at that time to put a 2 fast, high-speed or something charging stations into our community. Normally it would cost around $600,000 to have that done, but we pay nothing for it.
So another bonus for the community. All right,
You really don't want me to ask a question, because.
Go ahead.
You got 2 steps ahead there, Ryan, because that was my main question. Like, who are we entering an agreement with? And then that's been answered. And
the
then
general
whatever-
partner is the,
Yeah, you answered it, that's you.
Yeah, and then I'm just the property owner.
You're right.
Yeah.
And then, kinda that was the main one in the fall, whenever there's like a 5-page bylaw,
Yeah.
indemnifying. I'm wondering what the cost of the township is. You're also
Yep.
steps,
No, this
step
was,
ahead there, so
this was part of
that was
the,
my question and the answer.
when we did the hydro agreement, we said we were getting a charger on the, in-camera.
Okay.
This was, part of the agreement.
And I guess we could just underline the length of the agreement, if I read that correctly, it's a 5-year agreement, right? For, and then it'd be reviewed by council.
Yes.
Okay,
Any further questions?
that's good.
Hearing none, all in favor? Carried. All right, correspondence. A, B, and C. That the Council of Township Chapleau receives correspondence from the October 20th council agenda for the following extracted for discussions. Is there any to be extracted? Hearing none, all in favor? Sorry, I need a motion.
Yeah.
I jumped the gun on
I'll
that.
move.
Moved by Paul, seconded by Kathy.
Perfect.
All right, any discussion? Hearing none, now we can say all in favor. There we go, carried. See, they don't always go as you want them to go. All right, new business, Chapleau Cross Country event,
Okay, I shared,
Alex.
thanks. I shared with council, there's copies at the back too, the color page. On Wednesday, Our Lady of Fatima is hosting the Chapleau Cross Country Meet. This event was run last year. It does involve using Riverside Drive to the end of the bus loop from about 10 a.m. to 11:30. The rest of the race is pretty much on the trails and then around the M&R loop. So we just advertised for it. We found last year sharing with the fire department and having our marshals there were no issues. I mean, it's not tons and tons of kids, but we do have Wawa coming in this year to compete with our Chapleau finest. So we're looking forward to that Wednesday morning, and we just wanna get the word out for that.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, we also put it on our community bulletin board as well.
Okay, tax sale, 11.2, tax sale tender opening. Will be here at the municipal, everyone is welcome, Thursday, October 23rd at 3 p.m. in the boardroom upstairs. There'll be a tender opening.
Actually, we had a discussion today, and we decided to move it down here in case it's a lot of visitors.
Correction, it will be down in this room, which is called the
The council chambers.
council chambers, there we go. Gotta have the correct name for the record. Okay,
Would it be okay if I just speak a few things about what we're doing?
Yeah.
Great.
go ahead.
So through you, Mr. Mayor. So on Thursday, shortly after 3 p.m., we're going to be going through the process of opening all the tenders for all the tax sale homes in our community. And we will, each envelope goes through a number of checklists, and then the properties, each property is sort of rated. And at the end of the meeting, everything will be announced during the meeting of what the bids were and essentially who the successful #1 spot is. That will then allow the successful bidder, has 14 days to pay the balance of what's owed, because they do give a deposit when they put their bid in. And so they have 14 days with which to pay the balance, and then the property is theirs. Any properties that don't sell will be brought back for consideration of either we vest the property, meaning the municipality takes over the ownership, and then we can sell it for whatever we choose to, or we can go through a repost process. But if it just went through the posting process, chances of it sparking some interest, I think, would be low. So once we get through this process, this will be our first round of tax sales, and we have one more round coming in early 2026.
Which that list is bigger than the one that we just did. I'm
Slightly bigger, yes.
Okay. So with that being said, there's a motion I'd like to read, that the council of Township of Chapleau,
I have a question.
I'm sorry, there's no questions.
No.
Council meeting, it's during a public meeting, no problem.
That's why we're here.
New visitor, learning all the rules. No, and I appreciate questions like that, but they're there. But if you'd like to make a question, it's a good point to bring, is you send them in writing that you'd like to speak, and by all means, we bring you up, we put you on the agenda, and that's how that process is done. And if there's anything that's not clear, it's reach out to Judy,
Call me.
call her, have a chat, you know, and be happy to discuss anything, okay? And the main purpose of that is to be more educated with the question that's coming and have the right information, so then we're not dealing with it council after council after council meeting, okay? All right,
Great.
thank you. All right, so, that the council of Township of Chapleau does hereby appoint mayor and CAO on behalf of council the authority to use reasonable means to protect the properties in the tax sale process.
I'll move for discussion.
Move for discussion, can I get a seconder? Seconded by Kathy. Okay, opening up for discussion is, the reason for this is, we might have some properties that don't sell, but we might be in a position to do something else with them, and this is our first time going through the process, and what this does is give us the means to do whatever we need in the best interest of our corporation, i.e. the ratepayer, the taxpayer. And we're asking for that permission from council. If there's something that we have overlooked or haven't seen or being new to this process, is the ability to do it till we get to the next council meeting and say, here, this is what happened, this is what we did, and here's what's going on. Any questions?
So if it doesn't sell, then it basically stays with the town, and it'll come back to our
No.
discussion, or
Absolutely not. Go.
no?
Yeah, so no, so if it does not sell, then we have to actually make the decision to what's called vest it. And vesting it means we take on all responsibilities with that property, and then we can do what we want with it. We can fix it up and sell it, we can just sell it for whatever price, just to have it, you know, be off our books and be done with. We would, by vesting it, we take ownership of it.
So an example of such is, let's say we have a property in the community that owes the township $100,000. Okay, but we don't, and it's on the list, let's say it's on the list, and this is a fictitious number, ladies and gentlemen, okay? Let's not jump to conclusions here for the record, because we are being recorded, I just wanna make sure we're not going down a path that we're not supposed to. So let's say something, I'm giving you, this is an example, it comes up at $100,000, we don't get a bid on it, well then we say, yeah, you know, we're gonna take our chances on that, we vest it into our corporation, and then we can sell it. And let's say we get 50,000, well, that's 50,000 that the taxpayer wouldn't have seen. And then all of a sudden, we're revenue generating off that property. So now it becomes taxpayer again, which brings money into our coffers, which, you know, my ultimate goal is, council's ultimate goal, I shouldn't have said mine. Our mutual goal is not to lift taxes, right? So how do we do that? Get the most income we can from every single property, and also capture every single one out. That's why we're doing this. We're not doing this to be bad, yeah, malicious people or anything like that. There's a lot of people in this room that pay their taxes, and unfortunately there's some that don't. And we need everybody to pay them in order to keep it low. And then it's a recorded amount that's bad debt on our books, and we gotta bring that number down. When we came in, it was $2 million, and it's coming down. It's coming down drastically. And everybody should be real happy here that it is, because when cash like that comes, that goes into our cash flow, and that reduces our chances of having to lift our taxes really heavy. And this is the main purpose of this. This isn't to signal out people, this isn't to put people out of their homes, this is to make it equal.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that work really, really hard in this room to pay their taxes. We have to recognize that, and we have to make sure that the people that aren't are paying, point blank. And then there's no room for that. So either you pay, or the township does something about it. And that's a loud message that we're pushing.
If I can build on Mayor McNuckle's comments, just to put into perspective, the debt that we were monitoring was traditionally the size of the city, almost the size of Timmins. 40 to 50,000 people will average that tax arrears. We're a town of 1,800. So the impact on the taxpayer is massive, it's significant, so again, to Ryan's point, we weren't doing anything to be malicious, but it's important to ensure we're working in the best interest of our taxpayers.
And just for the audience's benefits, you guys seem to really be absorbing a lot of information, and I like that. 1% of our tax, so when we say, hey, we're gonna lift taxes 1%, that means $31,000. Just so everybody knows the number in the audience. $31,000 is 1% of our budget. So let's say we collect, somebody makes their back taxes and they pay $31,000. We don't have to lift taxes, because it got paid. Now we have that cash. So everybody says, oh geez, you guys are really, really hard on it. Yeah, it's a lot of money for everybody in this room. And we're not stopping. People need to pay their taxes. And yes, we have another big list. I know I alarmed quite a bit of people. The next list is coming, is bigger. But I'm telling you, people gotta get caught up. They gotta pay. There's a lot of hardworking people here that paid, and that has to continue. We need to bring that number down. It can't be $2 million. You know, yes, we're gonna have some, but that number has to come down, and it's gonna come down. And that's what council wants to see, correct?
Right.
Absolutely.
Alex?
The council's put a lot of, if you wanna say, pressure on the township to, when it comes to the budget. That's our big job, is the budget, to keep taxes low. And it's a lot of work, but I think we've been working hard towards that, and we're, you know, you can read about other towns, small towns in Northern Ontario, and what they're struggling with. And, yeah, we don't wanna be in a situation, like some of our other northern towns, for sure.
And we feel that it's not the appropriate thing to say to people, we're gonna up taxes by 6% this year, and then not go collect $2 million. I can't do that. I'm sorry, I can't. We gotta go collect the $2 million before you ask for any other money. If we collect that and then we can't make it and then we gotta come, okay. But you gotta do your best to hit this amount, and that's what we're doing. All right, no added comments on that? Okay. Can I get any other discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor? Carried unanimously. Okay, did I miss something?
No, we're right on schedule.
Okay, hometown takeover. Alex?
So this is something I like to see. There's a citizen who said, didn't say, Alex, do this, do that. They said, I'll do something. And he just said, fine, come. So we went to Gwen's meeting for the hometown takeover. So it's a television show that comes to small towns, mostly in the States, and they fix up lots of things, murals, storefronts, you know, what they can do. It's called HGTV, you may have seen it. So they're coming to Canada. Gwen said she's got experience doing bids. We had to get it together fast, so we met on October 13th after the last meeting. She has put together the application, which is due November 1st. We're gonna meet tomorrow. So Councillor Kathy and myself, we've been just supporting from council side, again, not spearheading it, just being aware. And if we're successful, then we will be on TV. If we're not successful, we still had a nice big group of people who are really interested in improving the town come together, and they'll want to take care of some things as a group anyways. So we'll look forward to reporting back on the success of the bid.
Alex, question, do you need a letter of support or anything from me on that?
Like I said, we're meeting tomorrow. Anything that comes out of that, we'll bring it to you right away.
Okay, no
more
problem.
letters, yeah.
And I'll make myself available for that,
Yeah.
that's important.
Yeah.
Thank you for your. Okay. All right, anything further on that topic?
No.
Okay,
So,
Right.
yeah.
so adjourn to in-camera session at Council Corporation Township Chapleau, move into in-camera session on Monday, October 20th at 7:03 p.m. for the following matters: in-camera discussion meeting minutes of regular council meeting of September 22nd, 25 and October 6th, 2025. Personal honors about an identifying individual, including municipal and or local boards pursuant to Ontario Municipal Act, section 2392B, 2 resources, 2 items. Can I please have a mover?
I'll move.
Second.
Moved by Paul, seconded by Kathy, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Carried. We're now on camera.
Would you please explain to people what subjects you discussed in an in-camera meeting,
Yes, so
generally?
let's say you worked for the corporation
Yeah,
and we had a disagreement or a legal issue or something that needed to come to council's attention, we would be discussing you at the meeting.
okay.
Union contracts, negotiations, something that, let's say somebody requested some information from us and we weren't sure how to handle it and we were asking for your legal opinion because that's not something that we deal, we would use that integrity commissioner. We would use that, let's say I wasn't sure how to handle something and I'm discussing it. We get legal advice on different things. Sale Hydro One was all in camera because general public, it's a publicly traded company. You have to do that with in camera and that you can't disclose those things and you wouldn't, right? Because
You're
you
talking about the contract conditions for referring to a sale. That was a sale.
yes. So there was an example. You said it
Yeah,
for
no.
Hydro One.
Yeah,
Hydro One
that's
was an
right.
example. Let's say, geez, there's
The legal advice that we were given was why we were in camera for
Okay, yeah.
this.
taxation sales, vesting properties, you need legal advice. Okay, well, what's our next step with this? What's the implications of that? How do we keep the township safe? That's where you talk about those things, and those things are relevant, are in camera, and you get legal advice. Sometimes you have a lawyer on the phone, sometimes you have the integrity commissioner. Also, it's to keep, like, the mayor in check. Okay, what can I say and what I can't say? What am I allowed to tell the public when they come? You know, and the integrity commissioner you would have a call. They would say, okay, you could say this, but you can't say this. You could say this, but you can do this. And those are important things that we need to know, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, always remember the township is a business, right?
Yeah.
Files financial statements, does all the different things. So we gotta make sure that we do all, and we follow all the rules. All right?
Yep.
So we're gonna go into our in camera. Thank you very much for the strong attendance. And I honestly hope to see you all again.
Yeah, we have to have some more people next time.
More people. Can you also clarify, Ryan? Number 12 on the agenda, the confirmatory bylaw. It's not actual item, right? It's like confirming last week's agendas and minutes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. The confirmatory bylaw is a mechanism that councils use to ensure that everything discussed at the meeting is passed and confirmed, agreed to. So even if there's conversation that didn't get captured in the minutes, the gist of what was spoken through that confirmatory bylaw allows us to continue to do business.
Understood. Because you do reconvene for that one after, but it's not new discussion or anything.
It is not,
No,
not at all.
thank you for coming.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks for watching. If you want to send us a story, you can send us an email to nocaudits@gmail.com. Don't forget to subscribe and see you next time.